Hey, it's Coach Chris with Hoops King, and I'm going to break down the Kansas 2-3 zone against Kansas State. Now, whether you're a player or coach, this video is for you. You can pick up tips either way. If you're a player, there's things you can do in or against the zone to help you become a better player. And coaches, maybe you can improve your 2-3 zone or attack the 2-3 zone better after watching this video. Okay, so on the wing, when the ball's on the wing, the top guard is going to cover that. But initially, the bottom forward provides coverage, especially on a skip pass. So number 10 out there, he's going to cover, and then 14 bumps him off is the term. And he'll yell, I got him, I got him, I got him. And then 10 will slide back down to the baseline and cover the short corner or the corner. Let's take a look at the bottom forward now. The ball's not even on the wing. It's clear up top, and he comes out anyway, which then he leaves the man behind him wide open. So really 14 has that covered there. There's no need for 10 to come out, and he gives up the open shot. And so then that forces the middle of the zone, number 44, he has to go out and cover the corner shot, which he typically would not have to go out there. Okay, so here Kansas is doing a pretty good job. 10 slides back down. Nobody really in the high post here, so the middle of their zone's pretty high. And now he frees it right here. They're not covering that short corner, but number 23, but Kansas didn't go to him. Now, if they would have went with that pass to 23, you have 44 running down there, and then you'd have 11 from Kansas State diving. But they didn't throw him the ball, so they didn't make him play him, and they skip it here. And then they'll just force him into a contested shot. The bottom man closes out on the corner, contested shot, and rebound. Yeah, I got more game breakdown, but before we go on, I want to make sure you know you can rent over 800 instructional coaching DVDs from HoopsKing.com. So you can go in and look at all these videos. You can watch a preview of them. Just make sure you click that rental membership agreement form if you haven't rented from us before, and we'll mail you the DVDs in the mail. This is USA only. We have all the newest videos. We have videos for coaches and players, so make sure you check it out in the link description below. Now here you can see how K-State has 4 players above the three-point line. So Kansas is just keeping that zone high. Only got 1 player themselves, or maybe 2 below the free throw line, but for the most part they're up there matched up with them. So my point here is, if you're a coach, see how far you can extend that zone out, and if you can get the offense to play higher and further away from the basket, then just stick with it. And then here on the fly to the pass, the Kansas player moves, and he gets a good contest on the shot. Okay, we just freeze it right here. You can see Kansas is matched up well with the zone. Number 4, he has the high post there. The middle of the zone is big and taking away a passing angle to the short corner over there, and the other player drops to the short corner there, and then he takes a contested shot. So that was good defense by Kansas. All right, let's take a look at what happens when the ball goes to the short corner here. So 10 comes up high. Now we got the ball in the short corner, and they're double teaming that. Kansas is going to set the trap here. Now, if Kansas State got rid of the ball quick, number 20 is open there, or if 20 dives to the hoop, there's really nobody between number 20 and the basket if he just dives right there. And then he'd probably even pull number 4 down further, and then you'd have a skip pass to 0 at the top for the 3, but they kind of froze on this, and then the trap got there, and nothing happened. Okay, this is something important I want to show coaches and players. Look how number 5 drives the gaps of the zone. I see so many teams that play against a zone, and all they do is pass the ball around the perimeter, and they leave gaps that you could drive a semi-truck through. Now think about this. If you were in man-to-man and you were doing a drive and a kick, you'd want to drive into the gap, draw another defender, and kick it out. So why not do that against a zone? And that's exactly what Kansas State is doing here. He's making 2 people play 1 offensive player, which obviously frees somebody up to be wide open. So drive into the gaps against the zone. Okay, here we're going to have another drive, and just watch all this creates. He drives that gap, he splits those two guys, so now a third man has to pick him up. So he creates many open players now because three people are playing one. He's got the guy in the corner, he's got 32 he's going to dish to, he's got 11 wide open. Kansas has three guys guarding one because he was able to get through that gap. And he set it up with a great ball fake there. And that's another thing you need to use against his own as a coach or a player. Emphasize ball fakes. Get the defense to lean one way, jump one way, and then go the other. And he used it very effectively here to create a driving opportunity, draw three players, and then dish the ball to the wide open man. Okay, now all the game, Kansas's bottom forwards have been coming out really high to cover that first pass. Now, typically you'll see them come out on a skip pass because the top guy can't get there. But, number 4 could get there to contest that shot. And then look at the closeout that he's leaving to get to the corner. Now he's got almost a 15-foot closeout to get to that shooter. Where, maybe they're doing that for scouting reasons. Maybe they do not want number 20 to get shots. Maybe they want the guy that's got the ball in the corner to get shots. So that could be a reason why they're playing this that way. But typically, you wouldn't send a guy out that high and have that long of a closeout unless you had a specific reason for doing so. Take a look at a ball screen here against the zone. So ball screens can be very effective, and Kansas does a great job of covering that there. Basically, they play it just like a man-to-man. He hedges. He doesn't hard hedge, but he shows right there. Long guy, not going to be able to get that pass over, and then he runs back in to the middle of the zone. So they did a good job of there stopping the ball screen. If he doesn't come up, that guy dribbles off, and he's got a wide-open shot. Now, this is one of Bobby Knight's philosophies against his own. As he dribbles this way, he's not going to pass this way. He's dribbling away, and then he's going to pass back. Because look what he creates. The defense moves with the ball, and now he passes back, and his teammates wide open for a three. So watch the blue move. Everybody moves, and he passes back. So dribble away, pass back. Don't pass the same way you're dribbling. Now, again, this dribble's a little bit different than what you'll see when we look at them attacking the gaps and kicking the same way. That's a little bit different. This is more dribbling the ball just around the perimeter. He's not really hard at attacking here a gap. So, again, he passes back to where he came from, and he creates a wide open shot. Okay, here we'll see some more bump action here. The top guy comes, the bottom forward leaves. Bottom forward comes, and then he bumps him off back to the short corner to cover that. Same action there. Again, Kansas is coming up really high out of the wing, and that is a good contest from the bottom forward. Okay, here's some good action up top. Number 4, he gets to cover that wing shot there. He bumped off. Now he goes back to the top, and now he's drawn to stop the dribble. The bottom forward comes up, bumps him off. You can just see that action there. That's how we cover 3 with 2 players, is we borrow that bottom forward to come help us out. And you also notice Kansas puts a lot of ball pressure in his zone. They're not just standing up there with their hands up. They guard the ball hard. They want them to put it on the floor, not move the ball quickly, take inefficient dribbles. So they get a lot of ball pressure. They don't make it easy to pass around them, and they're very active. You need to run an active zone if you're going to have a zone. It's not stagnant and stand around. It's active defense. Okay, here's a nice little action from Kansas State against the zone. 34 is going to set the ball screen up on top of the zone, and they're going to take the ball to the corner, and that leaves the high post wide open. Huge gap in there to get him the ball. Now, number 4 should have got over there to help cover that, but let's go back. See how number 4 just kind of stays behind 34, doesn't really get in there to play him at all. 35's occupied with the low post, which he is. Number 10's occupied with the corner, so number 4 has to get over there and take that high post. Again, depending on who they're worried about. If they're worried about number 2 getting threes, maybe that's planned. But again, they're giving up an easy shot to number 34 within 10 feet of the hoop. All right, let's take a look at rebounding here. Here, 34 for Kansas State gets anticipation on the shot and gets 35. He's not quick enough to realize the shot's going up and then boxing out. And when the ball comes off long, he's not pushed 34 out. 34 got space on him instead of 35 getting space on him to get that rebound. Now, on this same sequence here, number 5 for Kansas State should be blocked out by number 4, because the top guy is always going to be back on defense and he's not rebounding. So number 4 needs to go find number 5 and block him out. He easily could have got the rebound and put back in this situation, and that was his man to block out. Okay, here the top guard doesn't get over the screen, and then the middle of the zone is late showing, and so he's able to penetrate and get into the gap, and even has his dish there to the post. They don't slide down to cover that, and he gets to the rim, makes a nice play, but they could have had a dunk even if he would have dished it right there. Here's just a tip for you, whether you're a coach or a player going against the zone. So look at number 5. All the Kansas players have their back turned to him. They can't see where he's going. So he's going to run right to the gap in between 35 and 4, which is the high post, which is a weak area of the zone. But they don't know he's coming unless number 2 down at the bottom is calling that out. That's when you want to go. You want to sneak in behind the zone and not let them know where you're at. Here's your textbook short corner high post feed. Nice lane to pass in there. 35 doesn't see him diving, doesn't anticipate he's diving. And a nice job by the Kansas State player there too. Not over diving, not running all the way in there. He stayed into the gap where he could get his shot off. Nice little space right in there, feed. Go right up with it. Into the shot. Just didn't make it. Now, how should have Kansas defended this? Well, 35 should have went and met him instead of waiting for him. There's nobody on the block to guard, so he's got to go find that next player to guard, and that's going to be the high post coming down. So he should have went and met him and beat him to that spot, and then that stops that pass. Okay, again, here's a good baseline drive. So dribbling against the zone is not wrong. He beats the player to the baseline, which is going to force the middle of the zone to come stop the ball. And we'll freeze it right there. Now what do we have? We have 2 players guarding 1 because we dribbled the ball against the zone. And now people are wide open. And our high post is wide open for a dive here. And I would say at a lot of levels, especially high school, you can probably beat kids all day on the bottom of that zone to the baseline and draw that middle defender, have your high post, have a weak side post, have a weak side corner. There's going to be lots of people open. It's probably something as a coach you could take advantage of real easily if you just tell your players to do it. Even just a simple ball fake back out and a quick dribble to that baseline will beat those bottom forwards so often. Okay, I wanted to freeze it right there because look at the Kansas guards. They are lane width apart, which means there's the gap of the entire lane in between them. And number 2 does not make number 4 respect the drive here. So he's just hanging out there, anticipating that pass. He's not ready to help on the drive at this point. So if number 2 for K-State would just drive that gap, he would have easily have made this pass to number 5 because 4 would have sank in to stop the drive. Now I want to point out the high post here. Look how he's moving and being active for the ball. I see so many younger players who just stand in a spot against the zone. They don't move, they don't try to get the ball, they don't show their hands. So this is key if you're a player. Really work to get the ball. Make the defense guard you. If you stand still, you're easy to guard. So I want to freeze it here and talk about if you want to get a player a shot, set a ball screen. Because look how far the middle of the zone had to come out there to help get that. And the corner's occupied right now, so the defense has to respect that player. And look where if we just pump fake even, we could drop that right into 32 on a bounce pass pretty easily as well. And this has nothing to do with a 2-3 zone, but if you have players that are getting boxed in one, why not set a ball screen for them so they can dribble off and shoot? I see so many coaches who just kind of forget about that kid. Oh, they're playing a box and one on him. I guess he's not going to get the shots. No, back screen for him. Set ball screens for him. Get that kid shots. Okay, here's another dribble against the zone by K-State. And again, it's purposeful dribbling. He's going somewhere with the basketball. He's just not dribbling. He's occupied 3 players here. Here's player number 1. 44's player number 2, and number 2's player number 2, and he creates the wide open shot for number 20. Everybody's occupied. 2 has to respect the dish to 14 there. And he just misses a pass, and they get the 3. Okay, let's look at 20 and 0-0. The ball is moving on the drive, and on offense, they're not standing around. Look how everybody's moving to a space where they can get a shot or get a pass. Nobody just stands around and watches the dribbler. You need to move. If you're not moving on offense, you're probably doing something wrong if you're standing in one spot for more than 3 seconds. Okay, here again we see a great big gap right where the Big 12 logo is. And number 32 is going to come in there again with his hands up, ready to catch, ready to shoot. And he's going to attack that gap. Now, if you're a coach, when you're looking out on the floor and you see those big empty spaces like this and your players aren't cutting into those, you need to tell them, cut into those gaps. And if they can't see those gaps, pull them out of the game and show them where that huge space is so that they'll get in there and start scoring. Okay, now the middle of the zone is covering this, and he just gets there late to not stop that shot. But the key thing here is 32 pivots on his left foot. He reverse pivots, which creates more space. If he'd have pivoted on his inside or his right foot when he caught that ball, he would have went right into the middle of the zone. So teach your high post players to pivot with their foot furthest from the basket so that they will create space. That will open up not only shots, it will open up passing lanes for them. Now here we'll see one of the weaknesses of the zone where they don't block out and it gives 20 a clear path to the basket. Now 14 didn't attempt to block anybody out. He could have stepped in there and got him, but he's watching the shot, and then the middle of the zone is just too late to get there even though he did try. Now here again, we see a dribble attacking the gaps and getting into the zone, and he's drawing 3 players there. Now he's too confrontational on this one. If he just stops and floats that, 32's got the rebound even if he misses. And then here you can see 11 moving up out of the shadow of his man so he can get open for a pass if he would kick it out there. And so, he had people open, again, because of the dribble. He just took it too far. Now, here's one of the few times I've seen 4 come over and really guard that high post. And that's whose responsibility is to guard the high post when the ball's away. And it forced a lob pass, and it was a contested shot. Now let's look at number 2 out of bounds here. He's got a man behind him, but he doesn't even see him. He needs to see the man and his ball even in a zone. Okay, again, let's take a look at a ball screen here and some of the pressure that it's going to put on the zone. So here comes the ball screen. So now we draw the middle out. Now look at that. We got people with their backs turned. Number 2 could slice right down that huge gap to the lane for a layup. We've pulled the middle of the zone out, and number 4 is not dropping. He's staying with 32. He's a really good player. He just didn't hit that gap. You want to hit those gaps in each shot you get. Now basically what you have here is a 2-on-1 on the back side with 2 and 0 against number 10. If 2 could cut into that high post, 10 would have to cover that, and 0 goes to the block. He could just dump right down. It's a basic 2-on-1 if they would have got the ball right there. Hey, that's all I got for you this time. Please leave a like for the video, please share it, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.